We're checking in after the DDRC meeting held at 3907 Enzer Avenue. Same place we had the Planning Commission meeting. Going into the meeting tonight, we were hoping that the members of the DDRC were going to recommend Enzer, the bakery, and the laundry for status as local historic landmarks, making those recommendations to the City Council, who ultimately determines whether or not they become local historic landmarks. The DDRC decides whether or not to make those recommendations based on 6 criteria, and each of the buildings, Enzer, Bakery, and the Laundry, met at least one of the 6.
So the city signed an agreement with Hughes Development, but it hasn't been entirely finalized yet. The concern expressed by the one member of the DDRC was that if the DDRC kind of went behind Hughes Development's back and recommended these 3 buildings for landmark status, then that would add additional restrictions to what Hughes Development can do with the site, essentially. And so ultimately what would happen is not only will Hughes Development possibly back out, but developers in the future won't want to work with Columbia either on historic properties or just in general. So essentially there was a political concern that Columbia will get a bad name. Eventually they kind of decided that that was not the concern of the DDRC, so they didn't address that.
So the outcome of the meeting was a success for history advocacy. So the DDRC recommended that all 3 buildings be listed as landmarks. So they recommend this to the City Council. So they may or may not take that recommendation, but it's a good step.
And it's really an easy thing to do of what they have to do. They're not really making the decision. And the DDRC tonight understood that. All they were doing is being a citizen body who is using their expertise to make a recommendation to the elected officials who are making the decision.
Thanks for following History Advocates. We'll keep you posted.